Look what you created. Everything surrounding me, you made it. Everything's so beautiful the way it flows together. I think I hear birds singing your praises. Amen. I swear you make me feel like I'm your favorite. Oh.
Hi, my roses. So welcome to the very first episode of the Rose Garden. I can't believe we're finally here. I've been wanting to make this leap over to YouTube for a while, and we're finally going to do it. So for those of you who don't know me, my name is Adrienne. I'm a licensed esthetician and licensed clinical therapist in the Maryland area. I am also the owner of A Rose Wellness Bar, where we combine those two amazing services, the skincare and the mental health therapy, to really help people glow from the inside out. That's the goal. I'm also a certified yapper. Obviously, I am a therapist. I talk to people all day. And so why not bring that here right to YouTube? So welcome to the Rose Garden. And if you want more of this, don't forget to subscribe so you get notifications every time we post. So our first segment is called the Glow Down. This is where we talk all things skincare, beauty, everything that you need to know to be in the know in order to have a glow from the outside. So this week we're going to talk about sunscreen. It is definitely starting to get a little more sunny outside. That sun is staying out so much longer now that daylight savings has happened. And skincare foundation is prevention. We want to prevent the hyperpigmentation. We want to prevent the acne, all those different things. So one of the best preventative measures that we can integrate every day into our skincare routine is sunscreen. And you need to be wearing sunscreen 365. If you haven't heard that, let me break that news to you. So you need to integrate sunscreen into your routine every day. And a hack I love to tell everybody about is using their FSA or their HSA account in order to buy their skincare products. And so all the products we're going to go over today are FSA and HSA eligible at Sephora. So yes, I'm giving you an excuse to run to Sephora. And I know whenever I use my FSA or my HSA, I just feel like it's free money. I know it's money that was already taken away, but I never saw it. So to me, I'm just like, okay, I'm getting skincare products for free. So let's dive in. Number one, Supergoop. I know you have probably heard about Supergoop before, and I know if you've heard about it before, you're probably like, that's expensive. It is, but their formulas are really hydrating and they are really, really moisturizing for the skin. So they have a few different product lines of Supergoop, but one of the ones that I really love is their Glow sunscreen. It's SPF 40 with hyaluronic acid and niacinamide in it. So why is that great? Hyaluronic acid is really good for locking in moisture and adding moisture into that skin. That niacinamide is also going to help with the preventative measures of acne forming and things under the skin, so it's really going to help with that as well. So those combinations together, again, we talked about preventatives. We want to prevent those things during the day and add that hydration back into your skin. They also have I believe it's a glow, it's something on their glow line. Let me not make it up. I'll put it in the caption. But it also has vitamin C in it, and that is an oil-based sunscreen that they have. And that vitamin C is also going to help with the hyperpigmentation. It's not the fastest way to heal it, but it's good to support the healing of the hyperpigmentation. And so one of the greatest ways to heal some of that hyperpigmentation is to make sure that it doesn't get darker, and the sun is going to do that. So again, that's why you need the sunscreen daily. But with that oil base and that vitamin C that can really help based on your skin type. The second one, of course, we all love our girl Rihanna and Fenty Beauty. Fenty, right? So she has a hydro refillable invisible moisturizer that's SPF 30 with niacinamide as well. So I've never used this sunscreen, but I've heard really good things about it and about Fenty Beauty. And so again, that niacinamide is going to help prevent the clogging of the pores while you're putting sunscreen on. I know people often say like, well, sunscreen is going to leave me looking like I have a cast on my skin or anything like that. We're pretty past those days in most sunscreens. It definitely still happens, but there are definitely options out there. And I know you guys are thinking, okay, this is SPF 30, the other one was SPF 40. Let me debunk this mystery right now. The higher the SPF does not necessarily mean the higher the protection level. After like SPF 50, maybe 60, it really just means they're adding in more chemicals. Does not mean it's protecting your skin. And in some case, it's less protective than lower levels of SPF. So really that 50 or 60 is really where you need to be most daily SPFs are like a 30 or a 40, and that will do the job even for my darker skin tone people like myself. So the next one I really love is K Skin Body Oil, and they have a body oil that has SPF 30 in it, but I really love it because it has sea moss and squalene in it. So squalene is something that your skin naturally makes to hydrate your skin. However, like most things, as we get older, the production of that squalene drops. And so adding something back in that has something that you naturally produce is always great, because you know that's something that's natural for your body and you likely won't have a reaction to it. So squalene is going to really help with the moisture. It also helps with slowing down signs of aging, because again, it is something that drops as we age. So as we're adding it back in, it can act as an anti-agent. So number 4 is the Pharmacy Green Defense Daily Mineral Moisturizer. So for mineral moisturizer, it sits on top of the skin, the surface of the skin. And I know you're probably thinking like, what do you mean it sits on the top of the skin? Most moisturizers, most sunscreens are going to absorb in the skin. A mineral moisturizer is going to sit on top of the skin and create a physical barrier from the UV rays. And it's still going to help your skin and protect your skin. The great thing about mineral moisturizers is for people with sensitive skin, this is usually the route to go. So I know myself, I have eczema, and it actually usually flares up in the spring. As I've gotten older, it's not been as bad, but having something that is not going to irritate my skin and still protect it is really important for me. So like I said, all of those are at Sephora, and they're FSA and HSA eligible. You know, obviously every plan has a little bit of different stipulations, but please check into your policy because that is something you might be able to use. The last is a tinted moisturizer. I'm actually wearing a tinted moisturizer today by NYX, and I really love it. I wear tinted moisturizer most days. Like, I'm not wearing a foundation every day. That's even if I wear a tinted moisturizer. But you know, if you want to be able to feel like, okay, I'm having a little bit of a glow, you know, help with some of that discoloration, and still protect your skin, that is a great way to go. So I'll do a little bit of a deeper dive into that NYX, but I was influenced by everybody and I kept seeing it, and finally I was in Ulta and I was like, oh, I'm gonna get this, and I really do love it. And right, again, spring, summer, I want something weightless on my face. I don't want to feel bogged down or anything like that. So these are some options for sunscreen. I want to know if you guys are using sunscreen daily. If you're not, please start. Please start. It's going to really help with your skin. And if you're looking for a new sunscreen, if you try one of these, please let me know and how it goes for you. All right, for our next segment, we call it Pretty Mindful. And this is where we dive into the mental health side of things. And not in a clinical way or anything like that, but just kind of talk about what's going on with our minds and how we can support it. These are different times out here in the world, and we really need to make sure that we are taking care of our mental health. So I want to talk today about the soft life movement. I'm here for it. I'm not against it in any type of way, but I think we need to be realistic about how we're approaching it and what soft life really means for everybody. It does not negate the fact that we still have to participate in life, or we have to participate in the world, but I think it really does force us to take a minute and really look at how we're participating in the world. Obviously, as women, and mainly women of color, we have subscribed to hustle culture for way too long, like way too long. And obviously the 92% has been clear that we're taking that down. It's kind of sit down and relax. So one, I want to know in the comments, how are y'all relaxing? How are you moving into this soft life era? I have been working on this for a while because I'm just an independent person, and that has actually, I mean, I'm sure being a Black woman has something to do with that, but that's the reason why I'm independent are separate of that. So it's something I've been working on for a while. And so really just looking at how I can reorganize my life and not feeling like I have to do it all, and knowing when I need to delegate. So I have gotten really great at delegating in my career, but in my personal life I still really struggle. So I've read a book about a year ago now, called We All Should Be Millionaires. I want to say her name's Rachel Rogers. We'll tag it in the comment section. But really great book about just the philosophy of what it takes in order to be a millionaire, be a business owner, all those different things. But one of the biggest takeaways that I had from the book, that she talked about the need for really creating systematic ways in her life. And one of the stories that she shared was about how her family has a chef, and she's like, I know that sounds ridiculous for my family. I think like 3 or 4, right? Pretty average family size she has. But she was like, once I sat down and recognized as my business grew how much my family was eating out, and she was like, that's not the life that I wanted to provide for my kids. I wanted to make sure that they have healthy and sustainable meals, right? I don't want them eating out all the time, which again, reasonable, kind of belief there. And so she said, once I sat down, she's like, getting the chef actually made more sense to us from a financial standpoint. And it created more time in my life. It was allowing me to actually sit down and have a meal with my family and still focus the priorities of my business. And so really looking at it from that standpoint has been a game changer for me, and really thinking about, okay, what type of things can I delegate? My one thing that I cannot stand in life is laundry. I don't know why. I have been doing it since I was a child. I hate it since I was a child. And I hate laundry. And so there are weeks and months where I'd be like, okay, I'm staying on top of my laundry because I know if it gets overwhelming that I'll just delay it even more. And I know it sounds crazy, but there also is a piece of like creating a routine in my life that is sustainable. So anytime anything gets thrown off in my life, it's like, oh, I can't find the time to make up to do this thing that I missed out, which is, it's not an excuse, it's just a real reality at times. So I have delegated my laundry out to a laundry service, and I know what you're saying, you are one person. It's worth it to me. This is not a paid sponsorship for Rinse, but you know, if you guys wanna, I will 100% accept that, because I love it. I just have to put my bag outside. They come and pick it up. They drop it back off. And even if I need it quickly, like the next day, they can do that. I put it out at 8 p.m. They're usually here within like 10 or 15 minutes after the time that they say they're going to be here. And then they pick it up and they'll drop off your laundry and pick up the new one if you even need that. I don't need it that quickly, but it is a game changer for me. In the same breath, there are things that I genuinely like to do that I will still keep into my routine. So I love to cook. And so as much as I can, I try to add at least 2 or 3 times a week that I can just sit down and cook. And again, I'd say 2 or 3 times a week because it will last me like 2 or 3 days with just me. But that is something that I like. So I don't see that as a hassle. I love walking around Costco or Sam's. It's a hobby. But I also love new recipes. I used to want to be a chef when I was little. I wanted to also be a pastry chef. My 10th birthday was a cake decorating party before it was even a thing. So that's a hobby that I genuinely enjoy. So I'm going to keep that in my routine and make that as a priority. But what I've learned is, as I free up that mental energy of laundry and some other things in my life that I'm starting to automate or have other people do, it allows me to really invest my time and energy into things that I want to do, like my career, like my clients, like other pieces of my business that I want to grow. Like doing this, it frees up time and I don't have to navigate all of those different things. And to me, that is the soft life, right? I want all of the other pieces that, you know, social media portrays as well. I want us to be on the Amalfi Coast and do Paris in the springtime, and I want us to be at the spa. Obviously, I want us to be living our luxurious lives, but I want us to also realize that soft does not have to equate luxury, and it also does not have to equate a certain bracket of money. You can make that work within the income that you have right now, just finding one way to integrate softness in your life. And what that looks like is going to be so different for everyone else. It really is. But it can go a really long way in changing how you show up in the world. So I want to know how y'all are approaching the soft life in 2025. So it is our time. We need to capitalize on this. We really need to take some time to reflect about why we're grinding, why we're hustling. There's nothing wrong with hustling and grinding for a season to achieve your goals, but along the way we also need to rest and be able to recoup and be able to clear our minds. So that's just one way that I'm doing that. If you guys want to continue this conversation in the comments, we definitely can. And I want to hear how you are really integrating the soft life into your world. All right, here is my favorite section. Remember I said I'm a certified yapper? I love to get with my girls and just chat it up on the phone. It doesn't have to be about anything. Sometimes it's about some things that we go on or going on in our lives. But a lot of times it's just about the world and what's happening in the world. So I thought, why not bring that here and chat with my girls on YouTube? So this week there has been a few things going on. I've really debated, do I want to talk about Kanye? And I've come to the conclusion I don't. I've been talking about Kanye's mental health before Kanye was talking about Kanye's mental health. I don't think Kanye is still talking about Kanye's mental health, but literally, before, and this is not, if I could find, I think it was a tweet or a Facebook status, one of those things, where I was like, there's something going on with Kanye. And I was definitely in high school, like it might have been 2010, 2011. I was definitely in high school. And so, all I could think about from a different angle is what Solange is probably acting like. We knew how she acted when Jay-Z acted up. So could you imagine now somebody got her nieces and nephews name in their mouth? I'm just gonna say, you might have barked up the wrong tree, but that's not me. We'll see if it continues, but it always continues. But the two things I did want to talk about this week, and again, this is why I'm a yapper. I was in the hair salon today, and Just Hilarious came up, and I was like, ooh, I've been meaning to like dive into this. I kind of pushed it to the side, but I wanted to come back around. So this is all hair shop information. So if I'm getting it wrong, I'm getting it wrong, and please correct me and please provide details. But obviously, Just Hilarious went live this week and was, sharing her feelings about how she felt coming back to the Breakfast Club. And the young lady who, I believe her name's Lauren, was there while Just Hilarious was on maternity leave, right? And how she feels about her kind of still being there now that she's back. And sentiments, I didn't know, which I wish I had time to watch it before I did this recording, but I didn't know that they addressed it on the show, which I, call DJ MV and Charlamagne what you want, but they will always address something. And so apparently they addressed it on the show. So I'm not going to speak on that because I didn't watch it and I don't have the information about that piece either. But what we were really talking about is like, is this what happens when we're kind of thrusted into going from, my camera just died. So, what was I saying? Oh, so what we're really talking about is what happens when you're just thrusted from, I'm just making social media content to now I got a real professional job. And no shade at Just Hilarious, but she did come from, the social media world, which honestly, that's how a lot of people get their starts these days. So there's nothing wrong with that. But now you're working for a large corporation, and you gotta carry yourself a little bit differently, okay? And so there are some things that feel really Baltimore-esque, right? And that's no shade. I graduated Morgan State. I've been here a long time, right? But does that carry now that we are in a big corporate job, right? You work for our head radio. Can you just get on there and share your grievances about your coworkers? Because I know if I got on, a line and shared my grievances about my coworkers or how I felt about some of my employees or anything like that, my job would be gone too. And it doesn't look like her job is gone, but that could happen. So I want to hear the perspective of, are we really prepared to make these big jumps from, just social media creators? Again, obviously I'm here. Obviously I'm creating social media. So it's not like, just a social media creator. But how do we really prepare ourselves for that jump? Crazier part is this week I was dealing with a situation and I got to learn that there is actually therapy out there for people who are suddenly wealthy. Meaning if you suddenly come into a large sum of money and you don't know how to handle it, there's therapy out there for you. And as much as I was laughing, I was like, how do I be a therapist for that type of problem? It's true. Like, if you were just given a large sum of money and you came from a different type of lifestyle, think about your young athletes. How do you really adjust to that life? So a lot of thoughts there. I want to hear it. Please let me know. Let's keep this going in the comments. Before this is up, I definitely will do more of my research because I need to be better prepared. Like I said, this was all salon talk. So if I got facts or details or anything like that, or there's more to the story, please let me know because I need to know. I just thought it was very interesting. Very, very interesting. Other thing that I wanted to talk about, I am on Fashion Talk. That is the side of TikTok that I live on. And so if you're also there, you might have seen some of the conversation this week about the change in Fashion Nova and going more, not Fashion Nova, Pretty Little Thing, going more modest. But actually Fashion Nova was included in that as well. And there's a few other like fast fashion sites. I'm gonna tag the creator in the comments because I saw a really, really good, I guess for lack of a better word, like think piece about this. And the girl was in marketing and I loved how she broke it down. Obviously there's a political piece into this and the modesty side. So we've all talked about that. I think the other piece of it that we have to talk about is like, is fast fashion in danger? And the answer is 100% yes. With all these tariffs being put in place and things of that nature, fast fashion, we're not going to have access to it, obviously, because it comes mainly from other countries. And so the goal is for everything to, be homemade. And so I am not a political person. We will never talk excuse me, the details of policy, political things, anything like that. That's not this channel, right? But I do want to know how we think we're going to navigate without fast fashion and the changes that we're seeing in some of our more fast fashion brands. Like, look, I mean, I don't know if Forever 21 really is closing down this time. They said that before they went bankrupt and they're still open. So, but we know that, Forever 21 is going down. We're seeing these changes on Pretty Little Things that, again, the creator was talking about how this is a pull to now market, also to try to market to a higher level of clientele because fashion is going to be higher. But is that really going to transfer over? Are the higher, Pretty Little Thing clientele right now, they're going to get an outfit for vacation. They're going to get an outfit for, girls' night out. There's not really, it's not like you go for everyday workwear. There are some everyday things in there, but that's not really where you go, right? Same thing with like Fashion Nova. You go there to get your party outfits, for your going out outfits, your vacation outfits. There are some other, everyday, but it's not sustainable fashion. And so, are those people actually going to be able to afford that higher price point? And are you talking to the right crowd with making this rebrand? And I think not. I think the way the economy is going to go, I don't think that people are going to be able to make that transition over, nor do people want to make that transition over. Maybe that's a part of their ploy. I don't know. I'm not a marketing strategist, but if there is one, please let me know in the comments because I want to know. I personally, the styles that they are giving is my personal style. So when I started seeing it on Boohoo, Boohoo's really the first one I noticed. And then with Pretty Little Thing. And then when I saw it on Fashion Nova, I was like, okay, this is really happening. Like, I mean, Fashion Nova literally has like milkmaid dresses. And like, yes, those can be marketed to be really, sexy and scandalous or whatever, but at the end of the day there's a modesty factor behind that as well. And so I want to hear and I want to know how you guys are planning to navigate with this change in fashion, because the reality is that Shein is not going to be accessible to us like it was. All of these different, brands that we're used to getting are not going to be accessible to us like we once were. And I know that that's going to be a thing. But then also this rebrand from the modesty side, I don't know if they're going to get everybody. I don't know. I personally want to look like I live in Nantucket and I walk along the beach in the morning in my son's dress and I have a lavender garden in my backyard. That's personally what I want to look like. But that's not everybody. That is not everybody, and it's not going to be for everybody, and I don't think it's going to transfer over. So again, let me know in the comments. I want to hear y'all's take on this. I want to know how y'all feel and keep this conversation going. So that is the whole point of Girl Chat, and I want us to have it. Throw your questions in. Eventually, I think maybe we'll do like a write-in. I don't know. Yes, I'm a therapist. I listen to people's information all the time, but I'm not. I don't know. Maybe we'll talk about it. But Girl Chat is just a time to have Girl Chat, and we're walking away with no judgment. Add in any information that you have so that we can really get into the chatter piece of it. But I want to hear your points. Okay, y'all, that is it. That was our first episode of the Rose Garden. I am so excited to go on this journey. I want to hear what you guys want to talk about, so let me know, and we'll see each other next time. Bye.